and it actually runs into the other session that I'm doing after this. So I will probably just be about no more than 20 minutes because then I do have another session and it runs together. It overflows.
Okay.
It overlaps.
Okay.
Are we doing any Q&A or just we're just having am I just talking, or will there be some audience engagement?
We can have it, but unless people post any questions, so yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, here on this screen, we get to see only me and you and the admin.
Okay.
But in the YouTube and the social media channels, people can chat and post questions and things like that. So
okay, got it. Yeah, understand.
So we have another 6 minutes to start, so we can. I'll just go off screen.
Okay.
Yeah, Tonya. So I think we can start. Good evening, Tonya, and good evening to the viewers who joined us through the other channels, the social media channels as well. Tonya, first of all, thank you so much for coming on to address the Women Economic Forum 2021. It's a pleasure to have you, and thanks for making time for us to speak to us. For our viewers, the subject of today's topic is going beyond boundaries for borders for business growth. And Tonya, who's part of the IBS, she's the founder IBS Global Consulting Inc. from USA, and today she's joining us from Arizona. Tonya will be speaking about going beyond borders for business growth. And Tonya, since we have just 20 minutes, that's what you wanted. I just wanted to make sure that we recognize you on behalf of the Women Economic Forum in the Leadership Excellence category. And we have an award called the Exceptional Leader of Excellence. And this is a virtual award presented to you by the forum. Thank you so much. And this will be sent to you by mail, probably in the next week or so. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to go off the video, and the stage is all yours. And please go ahead. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting an award. So thank you. I am truly Honored and I'm humbled. So I just want to just to briefly just introduce myself, just to give a little background for those who may not know me, just to put a little context behind, how I'm qualified to speak about going beyond borders for business growth. So again, my name is Tanya McNeil Weary. I am the founder and managing director of IBS Global Consulting, which is a global management consulting firm that specializes in helping primarily small to medium-sized companies expand their businesses into new markets around the world. In addition to that, I am an advocate for women's economic empowerment. And so in 2003, I founded a nonprofit organization, Michigan Association for Female Entrepreneurs, which is dedicated to supporting, promoting, and empowering women across the state of Michigan, where I live. But I am coming to you today from Arizona because I'm traveling, but I do reside in Detroit, Michigan. I'm so happy to be a part of this event. I was honored to have the opportunity to speak at WIF India in person in 2019, as well as WIF Egypt in 2020. So I'm so excited to be here with you virtually. I'm hoping that next year I'll be able to see all of your beautiful faces in person, but I'm still happy to be here with you virtually today. So I've been in international business for just over 12 years of running my international consultancy and traveling the globe and helping entrepreneurs and small businesses access new markets. So why is it important for small businesses especially, and that's what I want to talk about today, women entrepreneurs and small businesses going beyond borders to grow your business, why that's so important. So we're going to talk about that, share what's required to be successful in doing business globally, and how it can really help to take your business to the next level. So those are just some few points that I'll share during our short time together today. And so let's just go ahead and jump right in and let's get started. So as you know, we are living in a digital world, right? So the internet technology has made it so easy for people to just connect with other people and individuals and businesses all around the world. So we are no longer restricted. We no longer have any geographic borders separating us due to this technology. And so that's why I want to talk about this topic, which I feel is very important, because when small businesses especially think about how they're going to grow their business, a lot of times, in most instances, expanding globally is not part of that strategy, and it really should be. And we're going to talk about why that is. And a lot of times it's because small businesses feel that they are too small to go global. They're too small to do international business. And I'm here to tell you that that's just not the case. I started a small business. My consulting firm is considered a small business, and I started my company as a global enterprise from the start. So size is no longer a requirement for success in global markets. You no longer need to be this large corporation in order to access global markets. And again, that's due to the technology. We live in a digital era. So it is just so easy today for companies of all sizes, regardless of, the size of your company. I founded my business right in the basement of my home, right? And I started this global consultancy working with companies and consultants and consulting partners in over 30 countries all around the world, just using my computer and connecting with people around the world. So you too, if you are a small business, can do the same thing. So especially small businesses need to think global and think about stretching beyond your traditional borders and bring the entire world to your business as a potential customer, because the world is so big. And I always like to say the world is too big to play small. So I want to encourage you to, as we're going through today's presentation, definitely to take notes, but expand your mindset and just think about all of the possibilities that you could achieve with your business if you were to look beyond your national borders. So there are so many roads to building a successful global enterprise. But the first step is the mindset. So I definitely want to spend a few minutes talking about mindset, because that's really where it all starts. And I do a lot of talking about mindset, and it's the hardest thing to change, but it's the most important part of being successful. Whether you're doing business globally or you're just doing business in your local town, having that proper mindset is going to determine your success or your failure, right? So I help entrepreneurs and small business owners to shift their mindset, to think global, and to take their business to the world. And so I'm hoping that I inspire you and encourage you to do that today. So it's all about having the right mindset. To succeed in international business, you must be able to connect with people around the world. And as you know, there are so many different cultural differences, and you must be able to work with and to communicate and to deal with people of all different nationalities and backgrounds and cultural differences. And really having a mindset is going to help with that. If you have a global mindset, your attitude and the way of thinking is a major factor in your success or failure, whether you're doing business globally or domestically, but especially if you're talking about taking your business to the world and doing business globally with people of all different backgrounds and cultural differences. So whether it's conscious or unconscious, these mindsets can directly impact your success when doing business globally. So we're going to talk about that. Starting a business anywhere, right? It takes grit, it takes determination. It's not just about having a good idea or a good product. And I tell people all the time, you can spend 10 years building a great product and nobody cares, right? And only to put your idea, your product out to the world, and nobody's responding to it. So it's not just about having a good idea or having a good product. It's really about grit and determination. And to keep going, even when things get tough, right? Especially if you're talking about doing business across borders and that you will experience in doing that. But having a global mindset allows you to look at the world from a broader perspective, right? It helps to help you to identify and to spot those global opportunities. And I can tell you from a personal experience, I was exposed to global markets back in 2008 when I had the opportunity to go to China as part of a study abroad program. I was studying for my MBA at Walsh College, and there was an opportunity to study in China for 2 weeks. That experience literally changed my whole perspective of the world. I no longer saw the world as I once did, right? It was much bigger than, when I look out my window and what I just saw in my neighborhood. And that was really that turning point for me, just seeing that there was so much the world had to offer and so many wonderful opportunities as well. So if you are interested or looking at building your business globally and growing your business across borders is really about deepening your knowledge of global markets. So I know for a lot of small businesses, a lot of the feedback that I get is, I just don't know, Tanya, just don't know anything about the global marketplace, right? So really deepening your knowledge about global markets and the opportunities that's available out here in the world. And that could be as simple as reading. There's so many different resources and things on the internet that you can learn about various markets all around the world. Talking to experts who are working in the international business space is also a great way of deepening your knowledge and learning more about international business. Learning the language of international business is another great way, and finding out what you don't know, right? Because you just don't know what you don't know. A great way of doing that is really attending international trade conferences and seminars just like this one that you are taking part in today. This is a great way to really expand on your international, the language of international business. It's a great way to start connecting with people all around the world. And you can do that right from your computer, just as we are doing today, and expanding your brand, your products, your services to new potential customers and partners all over the world. world. Also spend time educating yourself about the process, right? Because as much as I encourage small businesses and entrepreneurs to go global, I will be honest to say that it's not necessarily an easy process, but spending time educating yourself about that process, what that process looks like, and what that's going to look like for you and your business. What are the barriers that you're going to have to overcome when looking at expanding your business? And what are the options and the possible avenues for expanding into global markets? We can talk about many different ways to do that. But for small businesses, I really encourage you to, again, attending or participating in an international expo where you can do product demonstrations, you can test your product in the market. That's the most easiest way for a small business to test the market, to see if there's interest in your product or service in a new market, by exhibiting, by doing demonstrations at an expo, at an international expo, a trade show. And that's just a great way to also to start the networking process and building on those global connections with international customers all over the world. And so that's one great way of doing that. But I want to talk about some of the benefits of doing business outside of your borders, right? So going global will help to diversify your market, and it will help you to also capture a new customer base. So again, a lot of times when businesses are looking to expand, or they're looking for new ways to grow, they usually overlook the option to expand their market reach. And so when you're selling your products in your domestic market, that's great. But if you're looking to expand your market reach, looking to new markets, and especially underserved markets, right? Maybe your market is already saturated. Maybe there's too much competition, too many people doing what you do or selling what you sell. There are other markets around the world who need what you have to offer, and there's not a lot of people offering it. So it's a great way for you to really create a niche in new markets where maybe there's less competition, it's not so saturated. A wonderful opportunity for you to increase your sales and looking at those global markets. But again, there is a process to that. But doing that and expanding your market reach will help to reduce your dependency on your local market, right? And so when sales are down in your home country, maybe there's another market where during that time sales are going to be up, right? So it helps to diversify your risk. You're spreading your risk globally, and you're not just relying on the sales of your domestic market. So that's just some of the many benefits of taking your business beyond borders for business growth. So let's just talk about some of the ways we can do that, and how do you identify these opportunities with so many countries, over 190 countries around the world. How do you pick the right target market, right? That's the major question that I'm asked all the time. How do I know what market? So again, it's a process, but market research is always at the top of my list, right? So how do you identify the market opportunities and what markets will be best suited for your products and services? Market research. There's professional companies that you can hire that can perform that research for you and provide you with a market research report. That's something my company actually does as well at IBS Global Consulting. They have government resources that can provide to you market data on various different countries around the world. So there's so many ways you can find this out. There's a lot on the internet for free, right? If you want to just do some initial research and just to kind of get an idea of what a particular market or country is like, you can just start just with your computer doing some initial market research on your computer, but then maybe taking it a step further and maybe having a company to validate that information that you have gathered on your own. But you want to identify where the needs are, what the needs are, right? Because the needs that you're fulfilling right now in your domestic market may be totally different. Say if you're doing business in France, or if you're looking to do business in India, or you're looking to do business in China, or anywhere around the world, South Africa, anywhere, just pick a place, right? That market is going to be so much different than your home country. And the needs of the individuals and the customers there will also be different. So one of the biggest mistakes that businesses make when going global is the assumption that they can just pack up their same business model, the same way that they're doing business at home. They can just pack that up in the luggage and take that to the new market and just release it out, and it's going to work out. But that's not really the case, right? So you need to conduct a market analysis and find out what the needs are of the consumers in the market that you're looking at doing business, and how can your product or service best meet those needs. So that's going to be really key, and not going in with the assumption that it's going to be the same. Even the way of doing business is going to be totally different from what you're probably used to doing in your domestic market. So being flexible and being able to adapt is going to be really, really key and very important as you look to expand into new markets around the world. And I know for a lot of small businesses, they may say, oh, that's a lot, Tanya, it's a lot. But the benefits, it's definitely worth it. The rewards, right? They say that there's no risk without rewards, right? No reward without risk. So the opportunities and the potential return on the investment is so great when looking at new markets and expanding your business in markets around the world. It definitely outweighs the risk, and all of the work that needs to go into it is definitely worth it. And so I definitely recommend it. But as you're looking at these new markets, again, what problem can you solve, right? There are so many problems all around the world. And as an entrepreneur, we see problems as opportunities. We see challenges as an opportunity. So what are the challenges? What are some of the problems that you can solve through your business with your products or services? And taking just a look, you can just watch the news. There's so much going on around the world. How can your company help solve some of today's greatest challenges, right? As an entrepreneur, that's some of the ways you can look at how you can expand your business reach beyond borders. So some of the key steps, and I'm just checking to see how much time I have left, but some of the key steps, we already talked about the importance of market research and how important that is, and that's the first step in you identifying your potential markets and identifying where the needs and where the opportunities are, but then having an actual plan. That is going to be really key. Having a plan, putting in place a strategy, right? Not just throwing yourselves out to the wolves. A lot of small business say, well, Tanya, I already have a business plan. Well, if you're looking to a new market, keep in mind that that market is going to be totally different from the market that you are servicing now. So developing a new plan for that particular market is going to be key. And I would suggest even having a different plan for each market that you intend to expand into, because maybe your objectives will be different. What are you expanding your business into this market for? What do you hope to get out of it? That can be totally different from what your objectives are at home. So having a separate plan for each market, I think is going to be really critical, and it can help you as you're going through that process to see how you are meeting those objectives that you set in your plan. So that's going to be really key. So having a plan, having a vision. Where do you see your company in 5 years? What's the vision for your company's expansion? Actually write that down. It's one thing to just say, I want to go global, because it sounds sexy, right? I'm a global company. It sounds great, but it's one thing to say that, but really having a vision and knowing why you want to go global. That's also something I talk about, is knowing your why. Why do you want to go global? What are your objectives? What do you hope to gain from it? Most times it's, of course, to expand sales, to grow your revenues, to diversify your market risk. So whatever that reason is, write that down as you're looking at expanding your business. So what are some great ways to do that? Again, technology, the internet has really opened up the door for me to reach out to clients all around the world. We have social media, we have LinkedIn, we have so many great tools that you can utilize for free to start accessing global markets. But here's one thing that we tend to forget. If you are a business and you have a website, you're already global, right? You cannot dictate who's going to go to your website at any given time. So if you have a website and you have that internet presence, you're already global. So maybe looking at your website, if you're looking to attract more customers from a particular region of the world, say the UK or anywhere around the world, maybe making sure that your website is localized for that particular market that you're attracting, that you want to attract customers, making sure that you can accept payments in different currencies from those countries that you want to do business. And again, there's so many different platforms and payment providers and payment solutions that you can look at, but seeing, because some countries may not take certain payment methods. And so taking a look at that and how could you implement that and put that payment button on your website to capture those international sales. But again, if you have a website, you're already global. So now just taking a look at how you can more globalize your website for the particular markets that you're looking to reach, taking advantage of, tools like social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, to promote your products or services, attending events like this, participating in global trade shows around the world is a great way. I just participated in an event a few weeks ago, met people from all over the world, delegations from countries all over the world, right under one roof. It was 60 countries right under one roof. So international trade show is by far the greatest way to expand your market reach. And it's a great way to test your product in that market before making a huge investment, setting up shop, opening up offices, only to find out that there's no interest in what you have. So those are just some few tips. I think I'm at my time, but I want to encourage you to connect with me. I am on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. You can just search by my name, Tanya McNeil Weary. I also want to encourage you to check out my new book. It's called Women Going Global, which shares real life stories of women around the world from 13 different countries who are doing business beyond their country's borders. And they're sharing their successes, their failures, their lessons learned. And I think that's a great book for you to check out. You can check it out on Amazon as Women Going Global. So once again, I want to thank you for your time and attention today. It's been amazing. And I do hope you enjoyed the rest of today's forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tonya. I think it's a wonderful session. So quickly, you took us through and challenged the whole belief system around a small entrepreneur is not necessarily small. He or she can go beyond boundaries. You quickly touched upon topics of market segmentation, target market, market survey, market research, and then going global. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful session. I hope people listening in would have definitely benefited and they will connect with you later after the program. On behalf of Women Economic Forum 2021 India, I want to thank you for taking time and addressing the participants. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.